Welcome to She Says with your host, Stephanie Regalado. She Says guests share stories from their challenges to successes and, most importantly, the journey of womanhood woven alongside the collaboration of sisterhood. From self, love, friends and family, to hot topics, career, and worldviews, Stephanie and her guests discuss matters with utmost openness and honesty. So let's hear what she says. Here's Stephanie.
Hello, welcome to She Says. I'm Stephanie Regalado, your host. I'm always super excited. I need to come up with something else to say, but I really am excited. I missed last week because my son was at a track meet state championships, so I feel like it's been a year since I've been in the studio, but I'm happy to be here. This is Kristin Wilkinson, Trades of Hope. Yes. And I love it because I'm going to learn all about it along with our viewers. Since I made sure that I kept myself, my mind freshly open to any possibility, learning it from you instead of doing my own research. So what is Trades of Hope exactly?
So we are a for-benefit company. We're using business and business creation to address issues that affect women all over the world that have their source in poverty. So we partner with women coming out of human trafficking. We partner with women that are at high risk of having to relinquish their kids to orphanages because they can't afford to feed them. Women coming out of slums, single moms, whether they're widows or leaving abusive relationships. So women all over the world that really would have very few opportunities. And so we give them a business partnership and a chance to be able to provide for themselves and their family in dignity. By creating products that we then market in the U.S.
Okay. How long have you been a part of the organization?
Almost 5 years.
And how did you get connected to it?
I actually was invited to a party on Facebook, and I couldn't even go. But I'd been looking for a way to partner with causes like this.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a degree in social work or anything that seemed useful.
Yeah.
So when I started researching the company, it was only 2 years old at the time,
Okay.
so it's brand new. I was the first one in the Pacific Northwest, actually, to join.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, this is amazing. This is what I can do.
Yeah. So what are your responsibilities?
So we have a home party-based business model.
Oh, wow.
So I get to share stories among groups of friends, basically, and I love that part of it. At first, I was kind of, I don't know, laughed at me because I was always kind of the one that avoided home parties because it was always like, how much do I have to spend? And is this kind of awkward? And are people only, I don't know. It was always kind of weird, but I love the concept so much. And I've actually fallen in love with the home party model because it is really beautiful to meet in relationship and be able to bring stories from the women around the world into those relationships and build those heart ties in that way. Yeah. And in these amazing women that partner with me as my hostesses, they get to, if they get to make a difference in the life of a woman around the world too.
Yeah. So what kind of products? And do you have all the products at the home party? Is that the?
I don't have all of them. I have samples, and then we have catalogs.
Okay.
We have jewelry, scarves, home decor, bags, gifts, things like that. So like what I'm wearing today.
I love those earrings.
Yeah, these are from the Philippines. This is from North Asia, and then this is from Haiti, and this is from India. So,
wow.
But I actually got to go to Haiti in 2015 and spend some time with the artisans there and see firsthand what our partnership does. So the Haiti products are especially special to me.
Yeah.
But just the concept, and that's, I think, one of the biggest things that and why I reached out to She Says, too, is just so many people we all want to do so much. We hear stories around the world. We know that, women are having to sell their bodies or their children. And it's really heartbreaking, but we kind of feel like deer in the headlights, like it's so big, what could I do? And it's so beautiful to be able to tell women, you can partner with your sisters around the world with something as simple as a bracelet that allows this mama to keep her babies and to feed them.
Yeah.
So
how does the organization go into countries and discover women and then create a workforce?
We partner with indigenous groups that are already there.
Okay.
So a lot of time it's ministry groups or fair trade organizations that are already there.
Okay.
They've got a group of women that, they're doing holistic care, and then they reach out to us because they can't sustain it on their own. So they need a sales force, basically.
Right.
So, like our group in Haiti was started in, just before the earthquake hit by a woman who went to Haiti initially to adopt. And then found out that the boy she was adopting had a living mother who would come to visit him at the orphanage. And she was just appalled that this could be happening, that, what she thought was an orphan actually had living parents that just literally couldn't feed their babies. And so she and her family moved to Haiti, and they decided to create an orphanage instead. So they decided to employ women so they could keep their babies, because they obviously loved their children. They didn't want to give them up, but they were faced with the choice of watching them starve or giving them to these orphanages that then would hopefully give them a better life.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
So,
it's heartwarming, but it breaks my heart that they're in a situation like that. The reality.
And that's the thing is, and Shelley was in that position where she assumed this was a true orphan that she was being able to give a better life to. We don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes in so many of these countries and these women. So just being able to kind of redirect our hearts to the women and to these moms and what their lives are like. And if we could just support them with something as simple as a job, how it could transform their lives and their children's lives.
How many do you know if you employ in Haiti, for instance?
That group in Haiti employs almost 300.
Holy cow.
Yeah. But we have 2 groups in Haiti.
Okay.
And then the other, I don't know on that one, because they have a different model where it's a co-op kind of model. They bring in women and they give them a skill, and then they encourage them to go and start a business back in their home communities. So back in wherever in the countryside.
Yeah.
And then they just give them access to a market, because that's what's missing.
Right.
We've all heard the saying, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Right.
Well, it's not exactly true if they can't get to the pond.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in so many places around the world.
Right.
Groups are going in and they're giving sewing skills, they're giving, jewelry making skills, they're giving skills. But there's no place for these women to actually use those skills. Nobody can pay them for these skills. So they've been given a skill, but they don't have a way to sell what they're making for a fair and living wage. So that's what we're doing.
Well, and that's good. And then what does it end up equating down to for, I say down because I know that there's the price it's sold for, and then it gets whittled down by lots of different entities along the way. What is the living wage like for, and are they working full time?
It varies. In Haiti, when I was there, I can speak to that one because I know them the best. The official minimum wage is $5 a day. It's not regulated, so most people, if they can find work, make about $2 a day.
Oh my God.
Our artisans in Haiti make between $15 and $25 a day, depending on if they're kind of management or if they're just rolling beads or whatever.
Okay.
So, that's just a significant, to us it would sound like $15 a day, but when you see it in the context of that, that place.
So do you have percentages of how many of the women have a partner that they're sharing responsibility with in raising children and their families, or if there's single moms in essence, or how that works? How it looks for them?
It varies always. But I do know that in Haiti, well, in almost all the places that we partner, if a woman has a job, she is caring for not just her family, but a community around her, everyone she can possibly bring with her. And that's the beautiful thing about women. And that's why Trades of Hope decided to focus on partnering with women. We do have some male artisans, like maybe 20%, because we won't like turn them away just because they're men. But they did the research, and just men make different choices with money. They choose to invest back into their business or back into themselves, whereas women choose to provide for their families. They choose to provide for their communities, and it's just how we're wired. And so when you invest in a woman, it ends up changing the community in a different way than if you invest in the men. Plus, the women just don't have the education in a lot of countries. They aren't educated. So if their husband dies and there's no one to provide for them and their children, they literally have nothing besides their bodies to try to provide for their kids. And women would do anything for their children, and they have to then. So we don't ask them specifics about if they're married or not, but we do ask each year how many people they were able to provide for. And so I did bring, I think I brought that.
I would love to hear that.
So we have an impact report that we do. So this was last year's impact report. So we had 9,440 people in full-time employment last year, our artisans, and 3,906 people in part-time employment. And then we asked each of them specifically, how many people were you able to provide for? Because we know it's not always just their children, sometimes it's others. And we were able to help provide through their income for 42,890 people around the world. And there was about 5,000 compassionate entrepreneurs in the U.S. last year. So 5,000 of us were able to give living wages, living, just a life to 42,890 people. That's remarkable. And that's what the power of business can do. Because it's not a one-time handout. It's empowering them to provide.
Yes.
So.
Do you have artisans in the U.S.
We do.
as well?
Yes. Oh, we do have artisans in the U.S. We have 2 groups, and I brought one of their items.
Oh, fun.
So our groups in the U.S. are groups that work with victims of human trafficking here in the U.S. So human trafficking and domestic abuse. So they're safe houses, so they're in undisclosed locations, but one's in Tennessee and one's in California. And the women that go there can live, like in this one, this is through the one in the California area. They're called Cherished. They have a safe house that the ladies can live rent-free for a year in community, in a healthy community, where they can go through counseling, detox, legal help, because we still have a mindset that, a prostitute is the person that's doing the crime instead of a little girl that was trafficked, Our groups have told us that the average age that these girls enter this life is 11. So, and you think of what an average means, I mean, that's just appalling, heartbreaking.
It's disgusting.
So, they live in this community, and as part of it, they're given jewelry making skills, and the other one works with like bath and body products. As a means to learn skills and have a job resume and be able to provide for themselves. So this is one of the pieces. I don't know if you can see.
I love it.
That's made. It's the Freedom Necklace, and the imagery there is that the necklace is going from light to dark, or dark to light. There you go. Right there?
No.
Oh, there.
There you go.
All right.
It's hard to see because I don't know if they can zoom in, but
okay.
Oh, so the dark to light is.
So the dark to light is that this kind of the story of their lives, that they're learning that they have value and they're being redeemed, so their lives are going from darkness into light. So that necklace is pretty special.
That is beautiful. And then, so what is the final cost on that?
This necklace, I want to say maybe $38. Like that. So it's really reasonable.
So,
perfect, wonderful gift, and lovely.
That is beautiful. So is it only through home parties, or can people go online?
People can go online. You can do Facebook parties. I also have, because I've been in business for 5 years, and in Spokane especially, we have weather that can get in the way from people being able to have home parties. So, which is fine and completely understandable, but for our artisans that are relying on an income, if you have like an entire month or two where people can't get out of their driveway, it's devastating for them. So I've come up with a Freedom Box subscription service where people can request through my Facebook page and a Google document, and I will send them a Freedom Box each month that has something from a different country and a little bit more about that artisan group, so people can support this. And it's like, a monthly contribution that you do for anywhere else, only this way you're also getting something, to be able to wear and to remember these women, or to share and to give, and then you're supporting their consistent income.
Oh my gosh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Have they adopted that throughout the country then? You said there's 5,000 of
yes.
professionals like you.
Probably not at liberty to say what's in the works. But I have been in talks with the founders about the idea. So.
Well, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so excited for you. We have to take a quick break, and then we'll
Okay.
come back and talk about a few more things. So we'll be back in about 60 seconds.
All right.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
We are here with Kristin Wilkinson of Trades of Hope. I'm still processing the whole subscription plan that you've created, because I think that everything is going that direction.
It is. People are so busy, and to me, it's kind of sad, because I love the fact that our party plan gives people the chance to get together, because we need that. But we do have busy seasons, and so this is a way that even in those busy seasons, people can do something they already want to do.
Right.
Even
well, and I can imagine that you have a party and you bring out a lot of your girlfriends. You're not going to necessarily do that regularly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this allows the opportunity for them to stay
connected
and continue empowering women. It's pretty incredible. So you said it was over more than 42,000 people benefited from the women who are working, and 20%.
And it's not just a one-time benefit. That's the beautiful thing. It's a life.
Right.
I mean, that they're receiving an income, a living income.
Yeah.
That they're able to go to school. They're getting medical benefits, and then additionally, our company gives 10% of our net profits back into our Gifts of Hope program. So we're able to do things like build wells and build schools and build safe houses and contribute to disaster relief. And so this month we're doing a bag sale. So all our bags are 20% off. This month and for the next, I think until June 4th. Okay. And then each bag donates a chick to a family in Africa. So it's these little tangible ways that you really truly do make an impact on life. Because I have chickens. I know it's kind of weird in Spokane, but
it is not that weird.
I live in the valley. And they do that. Those eggs add up, and they're really good for the soil and just a lot of things. They can make a big difference in a family that's right on the edge.
Right.
So just, buying a bag and being able to give a chick to a family in Africa. So I love all the different ways that our company really does take that holistic view of what's needed to break the cycle, not just put Band-Aids on it.
Yeah. So how do you work in Spokane? What is your method to the madness? And and I guess if you can do Facebook parties, you're not limited to Spokane.
Yes, I do. My team's growing. I've got some in Oregon, Idaho, California. So we're interconnected anymore with the Facebook and all that. But my heart is teaching and sharing the stories. So I love being able to do that in person. And that's I'm always up for new ways to get the word out. So, something like this where I can share, with a different audience that may have never heard. Because I've been doing this for 5 years, and it's really exciting to me when I go to a party and I meet someone I've never met, and they say, I've heard of Trades of Hope, because I know that somehow it was because of me, because I was the first one, 5 years ago. So it's really wonderful to see just the various ways the word gets out. I did not get a business degree. I had no idea what I was doing when I started. I was like many people that get a direct sales thing and just think, oh, this is so intrinsically awesome that everybody's going to want to buy this. And so it's been a learning curve for me. But I have just a wonderful core group of friends and hostesses, and they can, connect me to people. And I've done speaking engagements with churches and with women's groups. And, the ability to share that. I've been to Haiti, too, is unique, to be able to give a firsthand glimpse of what's
because
being
people
done.
Really want to know that they can trust and have a connection to it. And when you can share those stories that you've experienced, you really bring people right there alongside you when you'd been there in those moments. And I say it all the time, that it's so easy for so many people to think of kids as other people's children, or think of people they don't know as someone they're not connected to. But I loved, did you go to the Women Helping Women luncheon?
No, some of my friends did. I heard that it was fabulous.
So Dr. Tri Trent, she's amazing, and I met her a couple of years ago at a national event, and I met her a couple times. But she really does push for the empowerment of women and the awakening, and talking about how inside of us all we have that, and it's really up to us. She speaks from a woman's point of view. Yeah. She grew up in Zimbabwe, and women weren't allowed, and girls weren't allowed to be educated. Yeah. But her brother would go to school and come back with his book, so she would sit with him and help him, and self-taught to the point where she could finally, she came to the U.S. and she had children super young when she was a teen. I think she had about 4 by the time she was 18 or 19. And but that was the expectation. And she had a great hunger that she listened to. She talks about the great hunger inside of you, and how it's our responsibility as a sisterhood to ensure that we are reaching and lifting others up around us as well.
Exactly. And I think that in our culture, women get there's this concept of being catty and being after each other, and that we're all competing with each other. But that's not the true heart of women that I see. Yeah. We're created to have that connection of mothering and of sisterhood.
Right, and that tenderness.
And it's so powerful. Right. And I think when we lay aside the lies, and really embrace that we're not, my success doesn't take away from your success, and your success doesn't it
actually enhances us.
It does.
And enhances everyone
around us. And we all raise up together. And it's such a beautiful thing to be rewriting the story of womanhood, really.
Well, I wonder who even wrote that story.
Exactly. Probably men. Not anti-man, I really, but.
Right. Well, you wonder, though.
Yeah.
I've had people, in the magazine, when I was launching the women's magazine, almost 7 years ago now, I think, the publisher, if he's watching, he said it had to have a shopping column in it. And I was like, no, I don't think it needs to have a shopping column in it. It just was so cliche. Yeah. And then he put a real stamp of cliche on it when he said, if he knows anything about women, they love to shop. I'm like, well, you've hired me to be the filtering system of content, so let's give this a whirl.
You happen to be a woman.
Yeah, I have. Oddly enough, I am female. So maybe let me give this a whirl and see how it goes. And then after the magazine came out, he said, well, obviously it's resonating with women. Go figure. But so I wonder, that's just a story.
It is a story, and we can choose to believe it, and we can choose to live that way, or we can choose to break the mold. And I love that in our culture, really, times are changing. Yeah. And we're being heard, and our words are being valued in a new way, and to be able to encourage one another to be able to speak our truth. And I love that what I do gives me a chance to speak for so many women around that don't have a voice around the world, that have been silenced. And but they're starting to speak out, and they're creating beauty, and they're being told. I work with women like Miss Florence in Uganda. We have a really sweet video about her on our site that she's sharing. She's a war refugee from Rwanda, and all these things she's been through. She takes care of many orphans, but she's like, I'm now an international jewelry designer, and it just gives her so much pride to see the jewelry she makes being worn by women all around the world, and just the dignity that we give them.
Absolutely.
It's so beautiful.
Well, and they're raising the next generation.
And that's
of boys and girls.
It is, and that's so. It's great that you brought that up, because that's actually one of the biggest things I always end all my parties with. Is I have 2 little girls, and when I started, they were 1 and 3. And let me see if I even. So, This is kind of silly, but I guess I kind of talked about Trades of Hope a lot when I was little. So this was, my 3-year-old drew me a picture of a Trades of Hope party when I was about 2 months into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, her artistic skills have improved now. But so
I
tell me
it's
about your
beautiful.
picture, sweetheart.
Yeah.
So this was a scarf, because we sell scarves. It's a table with food on it, because food's a very important part of a party to a child, right? Especially 3-year-old. These were the people that came to the party. These were the other things we had to sell. But then I said, well, honey, tell me, what's this part of the picture about? And at 3 years old, she said, those are the people that mommy's helping feed their babies.
Oh.
And in that moment, I realized this wasn't just about me.
Yeah.
Or
right.
even about the women that I'm partnering with. This is the legacy that I'm making in my family.
Yeah,
that my
absolutely.
daughters know that what they can do really can give life around the world. And it's so beautiful to watch them grow and just step into that they have a purpose and they have a place, and they don't have to wait till they're an adult to make a difference. And we've got a new Sparks program starting where kids can join with their parents.
Oh, I love that.
It's just beautiful all around, and this is just my favorite. She would probably kind of be mortified that I still bring it out now because she's 8 and she's like, Mom, I can.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so special to me that they get that it's the next generation is watching us, and we're defining womanhood for the next generation.
Absolutely.
And what it means to partner together and to raise each other up.
Well, and the cool thing in that, with as well as what I said before, that there are sons being raised alongside that as well, who see their mothers and the new stories for the world, but that it's just the story for them about their moms taking care of everyone around them and working and creating and empowering everyone. It's so good for all of us, because for men and women, you really need a good, strong mom who's thriving and can emulate all of the tenderness that moms can, just to help balance out the darkness in the world. Yeah. So it's so cool. I think I need to talk to my daughter about this, because my 13-year-old, she's very creative and she has a heart for others, and it's often we talk all the time about personal power and how it truly is endless, but it's you can feel as though like you can wonder what you can truly do and the impact you can truly make.
When I came back from my 2 trips, I went to China and I went to the Dominican Republic and saw firsthand some of that poverty and heard the stories of the human trafficking. I would just curl up in a ball and cry. My husband would come home and be like, what is wrong? And I'm like, I have to do something to help, but I don't know how. And it can feel so overwhelming.
Yes.
And for our kids too, but to be able to give them something so tangible, and they can be connected so intimately. I mean, like this bracelet is made out of cereal boxes and clay from the dirt in Haiti, and it's helping moms feed their babies, and they can get that. They can feel it, they can touch it, and they can feel so connected, and they can know that when I sell this, some mama can feed her child.
Absolutely.
And it's so tangible and it's so small, but it adds up, and that's the beautiful thing, as you saw the numbers. I mean, it can feel so small, but when we work together,
absolutely,
we build that change in culture and community.
Well, it's so beautiful. I'm glad that you reached out and shared. I feel like I want to go cry in my car for a little bit. But that is probably nothing new for me. You just feel the weight of the world often, and I don't feel like there is such a thing as other people's children, or I'm getting emotional, or women I'm not connected to.
Exactly.
And wouldn't care as much about as someone who I am close to physically or emotionally. So it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing it and the work that you're doing. We can post on this video afterwards where people can get more information. What's the best? Or they're watching this, so you can tell us.
Yes.
That's right.
So you can friend me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at KW, the number 4, the word hope.
Okay.
And then my website is mytradesofhope.com, and then / and then Kristin Wilkinson.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we can link all that down.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie.
Again, I look forward to. I really look forward to being plugged in some way. I think with my daughter would be the perfect way to do that. So,
great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
you so much for joining us today at She Says. So many amazing women in our community, and so many amazing things happening. And it isn't just about our community; it is on a global level. And even with social media and the reach that we have, I'm very. Oh, I do feel like I'm going to cry, but I'm very passionate about deciding to be the light and spreading love and positivity instead of engaging in any sort of warfare, arguments, or confrontation. on social media. So we all really truly have that power in small ways that ricochet into huge ways. So it's a great testament to what your company is doing and how that model truly works and makes a huge impact. I mean, 42,000 people benefit from this. So beautiful. All right. I'm done. I'm out. Thank you, and I will see you next week.
She Says is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content.